Open Marriage is a Lifetime movie about a young couple who decides to save their marriage by having sex with their best friends. Sounds like a good idea to me. Ron and Becca are a hot couple who have hit a rough patch in life. Ron is an out-of-work construction worker, which may explain why he can't afford a shirt. Seriously, let's count just how many scenes this guy isn't wearing a shirt. The two are also having a difficult time getting pregnant. And their best friends are another hot couple named Max and Mindy. So all four of them are hanging out at Max and Mindy's mansion when this happens.
How's your sex life these days?
Oh, okay. That was out of nowhere. Max and Mindy go on to tell them that they recently started having sex with other people, but it's perfectly fine because they have rules and it's made their sex life even stronger. Becca is clearly uncomfortable talking about this, so she says they have to head out.
Hope we didn't scare you off.
No. Ron and Becca drive home, have sex, and wake up the next morning.
Were you as surprised as I was about their extracurricular activities?
Wait, you're just now talking about that? It took you nearly 12 hours to bring up the fact that your best friends admitted that they fuck strangers for fun? I don't think I'd sleep that night. At work, Becca tells her gay coworker about the whole open marriage thing.
What do you think?
Well, in gay land, open relationships are pretty normal. Unless you're ugly, in which case nobody wants to have sex with you.
But now that you're married, it's different, right?
Not at all. Gary and I have an open marriage.
You do?
Sure.
Bring on Apretude, long-acting protection from HIV.
Kidding, I'm kidding. Becca leaves work feeling a little better about open marriages. I guess because her gay coworker and his husband have an open marriage? And decides to meet with Mindy to discuss it further. Or as Mindy puts it,
Our salacious proposition for you and your hot, juicy slab of a husband.
yes, that. After a discussion, Mindy convinces Becca that an open relationship is just the thing that could solve her and Ron's problems. As a reminder, their problems are him being unemployed and them not being able to get pregnant. Okay, how will screwing other people help that? Ron receives the results from a fertility test, and rather than telling his wife, he tells his shirtless bro as he flips a couple of meaty steaks.
My fertility test came back.
Oh? And?
The doctor says I have a 1% chance of having children.
Max once again tries to rope Ron into an open marriage by saying it's just about sex and that no one will get hurt.
Right. Grizzly Adams had a beard.
Finally on board, Ron and Becca show up to Max and Mindy's house to bang each other. The two swap partners, and if things weren't already weird enough, they start getting it on in the very same room.
Every breath I dare you to speak of her.
Go to separate rooms. The hell is wrong with these people? Days later, the two couples go to a secret sex club.
Password. Kumquat.
Gross. The door opens and out walks this person.
Welcome.
I'd like to go home now. At the bar, all four of them pass on drinking because they don't want to dull their senses.
Suit yourselves.
Then the bartender hands them some free condoms to use. How is this club making any money? There was no fee to get in from what we saw. They weren't required to purchase any alcohol, and then they received free condoms? What kind of business model is that? This is essentially just a place for people to show up and have sex for free. Anyway, the two couples once again swap partners, and once again have sex in the same exact room. I don't get it. Max and Mindy were all about making Ron and Becca as comfortable with this situation as possible. You know what would make me comfortable? Not watching my wife get plowed by my best friend out of the corner of my eye. When Mindy and Ron wake up, because I guess they effed so hard that they fell asleep, they find Becca and Max cuddled up together in a different room, which is a big no-no.
Isn't rule number one that we're all supposed to be together?
Upset about last night, Ron tells Becca that he wants to call the whole open marriage thing off. which lasts for about 3 minutes because while Becca is working a double shift, Ron goes back to the sex club, starts making out with this hot chick, but this weirdo in white lingerie is watching him and things get too uncomfortable, so he leaves. Ron finally tells Becca that he has a 1% chance of having kids. She gets mad at him because he waited weeks to tell her, so she drives off, forcing him to run home. At home, he finds a positive pregnancy test in the trash, but decides not to mention it to his wife. Yet. While working out with a bunch of other shirtless dudes, because that's what guys do, Ron has this realization.
This whole open marriage thing was supposed to be an escape from our problems. I feel like all it's done is cause more.
What did you expect?
And that's when Mindy comes in.
Hey, boys. You guys are looking all pumped up and sweaty.
I don't think this character is capable of saying anything non-sexual.
And I really miss our little get-togethers. You guys have to admit, that was the hottest sex ever.
Mindy, what's gotten into you? Keep it down.
And what is this fake-ass gym they're in? It's got a Bowflex, stack of mats, and the world's shittiest bench press. Could they not afford to shoot inside an LA Fitness or some other real-looking fitness center? Ron calls the hospital looking for Becca because she hasn't been answering her phone and finds out that she left work hours ago even though she told Ron that she was working late that night.
You liar!
Becca is really at the sex club with Max.
I can't stop thinking about you.
I came here to tell you it's over.
And just like with Ron, the woman in white is there again, now watching them. At home, Ron confronts Becca about lying to him about being at work and about that pregnancy test. She says she wanted to wait to make sure there were no complications before telling him about the pregnancy, and that tonight she was at the mall looking at baby stuff.
Liar!
Becca is feeling unsure if Ron actually is the father of her unborn baby, so her coworker says he knows a guy who will do a prenatal paternity test. But she'll need to obtain a DNA sample from Ron. So that night, she sneakily takes some hair off his hairbrush. Ron delivers the wonderful news to Becca that he landed a major construction job for a community center that's being commissioned by the mayor, and he owes it all to an open marriage. Not really, but not only will Becca not have to work double shifts anymore at the hospital, she won't have to work, period, because that's how much money he'll be making. How did the contract go to him? A construction job commissioned by the mayor's office surely would have been awarded to a more reputable company and not some guy who spent the last 4 months out of work banging his best friend's wife and hanging out at sex clubs. A baby stroller mysteriously arrives at their front door.
Who knows you're pregnant?
Nobody.
You haven't told anybody.
No.
Well, that's not creepy. They come to the conclusion that someone has been spying on them. Ron, Becca, Max, and Mindy have dinner and receive a text on their phones that shows Ron at the sex club with another woman.
I'm sorry. She wanted to do more and I stopped.
What do you want, a medal?
Sure. Ron then receives another text from someone that says the mayor just saw the photograph of him and that woman at the sex club and that he's fired.
So just like that, we're back in the poorhouse.
Yep. Yet another text comes through showing Becca and Max together at the club.
That's it. I am done. I am sick of all the lies.
Oh, suddenly she's sick of all the lies once the photograph is of her looking guilty. Max and Mindy storm off and everyone is now pissed off at each other.
Who could have seen that coming? Right? It's like you'd have to be from the future.
A day later, Becca returns home from work to find Ron tied up and Mindy holding a gun. Max shows up and Mindy orders him to undress and for Becca to put on lingerie because the director figured why not get everyone naked one last time. It's revealed that Mindy was the woman in white spying on them in the sex club and took those photographs that were sent to their phones the other night. Mindy admits that she is obsessed with Becca and wants to be exactly like her. And that's why she wanted to have sex with Ron so that she could experience what Becca experienced or something weird like that. I don't know.
If this is between you and me, let Ron and Max go.
You still don't get it, do you?
I don't get it. Becca convinces Mindy to let them untie Ron so that all 4 of them can have sex on the bed. And she agrees. she did what she had to do.
Appreciate it.
That's it? That's how that little hostage situation ends? Just a sturdy handshake with a cop saying thank you and goodnight? What happened to Mindy? Is she dead? Did Becca just commit justifiable homicide? Did Max just lose his wife? Is there not going to be an investigation into any of this bullshit? We never find out. Nope, instead Becca opens the paternity test.
I'm the father.
I knew it.
But I think the real achievement here is that Ron finally put on a shirt.
Who cares?